Namaskar, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Nupur Kulshre joining you today on our special session, and you are watching this session live on eVidya channel number 6 to 12, and you may also stream this session live on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. So this is a time for our online training program, and this is our 5-day online training program, and today is the third day of this online training program. Started on Monday. Today, as we reach the third day, we'll discuss about something really important. And the started on Monday. The theme of this online training program is digital wellness, and we have been discussing different topics related to this theme. And as we reach on third day, so today we will discuss really something very important. And let me tell you the topic. Today's topic is ensuring physical well-being in digital spaces, right? Ensuring physical well-being in digital spaces, and to give insight on this topic, I would like to invite Dr. Dipali Negi, DM Addiction Psychiatry Resident, AIMS, New Delhi. Welcome to the session, ma'am. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Good evening.
And dear viewers, if you have any query related to this session, related to this topic, feel free to call us this number. The number is 8800440559, and you may also mail your queries to training.helpdesk@cit.nic.in. So let's start our session with ma'am, and I would like to start with this thing, ma'am. What is the purpose of this online training program, and what are we going to learn today?
So first of all, I would like to thank you, Nupur, for inviting me here and letting me be a part of this training session. And today is the third session in which we'll be discussing about how to ensure physical well-being in the
Right.
digital space.
Yeah.
So in this session, we'll be addressing like what are the challenges of maintaining physical health. As we are increasingly interacting with technology these days. So how to integrate physical wellness into our digital routine, and we'll be talking about various health issues like sleep disturbances, issues with musculoskeletal system, physical inactivity, eye strain, and various tips to prevent these issues. So this is what we'll be discussing in these sessions.
Right. So can we start our session, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. So before starting the session, there are 2 points that I would like to clarify first. So first being that for this session, as it was discussed in the first session, we would be using the term digital space and cyberspace as a singular term, like interchangeably. Even though there are two very different terms, digital space is the digital screen of digital devices like the laptops, computers, tablets. So it refers to the digital screen. Whereas the cyberspace, it is not a physical form. It can be explained as a realm where we interact with each other using internet, with different networks, technology. And so these two terms are completely different, but for the purpose of the session, we'll be using these two terms interchangeably. The
Right.
second point that I would like to say is that even though we'll be discussing the various physical harms and the mental harms that would be discussed subsequently, in no way are we saying or we are condemning or we are prohibiting the use of digital space, because digitalization has vastly and profoundly improved our lives. It is the reality of our time. We have digital tools that have made our lives so much easier. Everything is just a click away. If we want to message someone, we have messenger apps. If we want to have food, we have apps for that delivers food at our doorstep. If we want to shop, we have apps for that. Social media, we have video calls that have bridged the distances. We want to call our parents. Earlier we would meet our parents for after months, but now everything is just a video call away. In
Right.
addition to that, like there's so much information. Like internet is a vast library. You don't have to go to a library and borrow a book if you don't want to learn something. With just a few types of types on the keyboard, you can have anything that you want to know. Also, like there's so much development. You have self-driving cars, you have smartphones, the health have improved, the education system has improved. So all these changes are very revolutionary, and we can't go back to that. But
Right.
in addition to that, digitalization also has a dark side. It has led to uh, techno stress. So techno stress is like an anxiety or tension or distress, when the individual struggles to adjust to a technology positively or efficiently. It has led to information overload. There's so much information, velocity information, variety of information. We don't know what to do. Like, for example, if you open an OTT channel, you don't know what to watch because there's so much option. So it has led to decision fatigue. We have spams, we have fake news, we have fake reviews. There's general wastage of time. Also, a lot of behavioral addictions have come up, like gambling disorders, gaming disorders, which are accessible through digital devices. There's a lot of privacy concerns. It has become, individuals are very vulnerable in these spaces. There have been incidents of financial fraud, identity theft, which has led to exploitation. There's cybercrime, which are illegal activities that are committed using digital technologies, which has affected not only individuals or companies, it has also affected governments. So there are a lot of dark side to digital space. However, what is needs to be understood is that there needs to be a balanced perspective. We need to know the good thing and we need to know the bad thing to ensure that the progress does not come at a cost of our humanity. We have to embrace digitalization while safeguarding our physical health, our mental health, and our emotional health. So with that, I would like to start my session.
Right.
So, first of all, we need to know what is health. So, WHO states that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and it is not just an absence of disease. If you don't have any kind of disease, that does not mean that you are healthy. You should also be like optimally well physically. That is, you need to have a general physical condition of body and its various systems that should be working optimally. You should have like mentally healthy, that your emotional and your psychological well-being should be there, and you should be also healthy socially. When we say socially, it means that you have positive relationship with people around you, you have communication with them, and you have a sense of belonging. So this is what WHO defines as a definition of health. Now, health is multifaceted. There are various dimensions to it, and there are a lot of models. We have 5-dimension models, we have 6-dimension models, 9-dimension models. But here I'll be focusing on the 5-dimension models. So, health can have, like, it has a physical dimension, it has an emotional dimension, mental dimension, social, spiritual dimension. So, the wellness involves nurturing all these dimensions. So if you are healthy holistically, it means you have good activity, good sleep, healthy habits. For socially, you have good relationships, support systems. For emotionally, you are coping well, you are expressing your emotions well. And for spiritually, that you have a purpose in life. And generally, you have a balanced life. So that are the various dimensions of health. So in this session, we'll be mainly focusing on physical health, physical well-being. So it's important to know what is good physical health. So, good physical health is a state of well being where all the body's internal, external parts, organs, tissues, and cells are functioning properly. That is the definition of a good physical health. So, how does digital space affect us physically? So, there are a lot of physical effects, like it affects our sleep, it affects our cardiovascular systems, it affects our vision, it affects our musculoskeletal system, our bones, our posture, it affects our hearing, it affects our neurophysiological systems, and there are also other possible effects in which, like, studies are going on. There can be possible effects, like studies are going on, we just don't know right now कि और भी क्या-क्या effects हो सकते हैं. So there are other possible effects on physical health that we'll be discussing.
Right.
Now,
And
how?
yeah. Please continue, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does, like, the first is, how does digital space affect our sleep? Now, why is sleep important? It's important to know why is sleep important. So now sleep is very important for the development of brain, neurodevelopment of infants and toddlers. It has been seen that inadequate sleep, both like the amount of duration of sleep and both the quality of sleep, has led to like decrease in physical and mental health of adolescents. Also, sleep disturbances lead to decrease in performance, academic performances. And there has been a study in 2011, a study was done, and it was shown that the child in today's age is sleeping when 1 hour less than those a century before. So the general sleep has decreased in today's time. 20 to 30% young children are experiencing sleep problem recently. So before moving forward, I would like to speak more about sleep. I would like to speak about circadian rhythm.
Right. So, ma'am, what is
So
circadian rhythm in eyes? What do we understand by that?
yeah.
It is
So
something new,
sleep,
ma'am?
yeah. So sleep is something that is regulated by circadian rhythm. Now, how we can understand circadian rhythm is it's like a biological clock. It's something in our body that regulates our functions in a reg- in a the biological rhythms of the body. The circadian rhythms, it regulates the biological rhythms of our body. So it regulates our sleep wake cycle and other patterns like the core body temperature, at what time the hormone will be released. So that is a function of the circadian rhythm. Now, the circadian rhythm, like it needs an external cue to be synchronous. Like we often see, like if I'm in India, and if I travel tomorrow to uh, maybe England or America, there would be a time difference. So initially, I would feel jet lag for a few days, and then I would get synchronized to the sleep wake pattern of that country. So how does this happen? So the main external cue that help us in synchronizing these patterns is light. Now, how light works. So we all have an organ called pineal gland. People who like study science, they must be knowing. There's an organ called pineal gland that secretes a hormone called melatonin. So when our eyes receive light in form of sun, like when there's sunlight, the pineal gland melatonin production is stopped. It is inhibited. So it is not produced. So we remain wakeful. But at the night time when there's no light, the pineal gland get activated and the melatonin is increased. So we feel sleepy. We get go back to sleep. So that is how like the pineal gland works. That is how the sleep wake cycle works. So, but what is happening is when there's increase, the screen emits electromagnetic radiations, which is also a kind of our mind perceives it as a light. So, because there's electromagnetic radiation, the melatonin production is hampered. So, people are more wakeful. In addition to that, like the screen time, it is encroaching upon the time that like we take for sleep. It
Right.
comes at an expense of our sleep time. So it
Ma'am,
is shortening
ma'am, when we
sleep.
talk about sleep, a good night's sleep is essential for our overall health and well-being. So,
Yes.
how many hours it is advisable to sleep for a good health, to maintain good health?
So 7 to 8 hours of sleep is generally said it is good sleep.
Okay.
So that is but different people have different they need different duration of sleep. So but generally 7 to 8 hours of sleep is considered to be a good sleep. So moving on, the screen time, because there is increased screen time, there is decreased physical activity. The physical activity is also very important. If you work out more, if you are physically active, so you would have a good sleep, a deep sleep. In addition to that, see, whenever like we are sleeping, you have our mobile phones with us. There's always notification going on. So it can also lead to an inadequate sleep because we are heavily invested in what is going on. We don't want to miss out, which is known as FOMO, fear of missing out. So those notifications that are continuously ringing that leads to delayed sleep. We are more focused on that. So we have seen that overall, with the advent of digitalization, the night and day sleep duration has increased. The night sleep onset time has become longer for this population. Also, people are generally aroused most of the time, uh, because they are not relaxed while sleeping because they are using mobiles, they are watching TV. If they're not able to sleep, they keep on using that. So there is a general state of arousal. There's not a general state of relaxation that should precede sleep. So that is also one of the factors that lead to decreased sleep. So what can we do about it? What can what can we do to improve our sleep? So there's a thing called universal sleep hygiene. It is something that I think everyone should practice, not just people who have sleep disturbances, but everyone should practice universal sleep hygiene. And it is something that can be accessible on the internet. If you type it, you will know what is universal sleep hygiene, and we'll be discussing about it right now. So sleep, these are certain tips that help to improve your sleep. So the first thing is to practice healthy sleep habits. So you should have a regular sleep wake pattern and a consistent pre-sleep routine. No, you should have a if you don't require it, it's okay, but you should have a regular sleep wake pattern. You should try to rise at the same time each day, regardless how you slept. Like if you probably you have a tendency to wake up at 7 in the morning and sleep at 10 in the morning, but just because you have to attend some function, you slept at 2 in the morning. It is advisable that you wake up at 7 at the same time. You don't try to compensate it, because that would try, if you like wake up at 2 in the morning, that will disturb your sleep wake cycle. So it's always advisable to awake, be arise at the same time each day. Then you have to avoid taking extended nap. A nap time should be not more than 30 minutes. You should not compensate for your poor nighttime sleep with increased daytime sleep. Then you should have a relaxing bedtime ritual if you're having sleep disturbances. You should not go to sleep in an aroused state. So you can do things to decompensate yourself. You can have a relaxing bath 1 hour before sleeping. You can have your own ritual to calm yourself down, to de-stress yourself. Then one thing is that if you're unable to sleep, for example, if you're lying on the bed, it has been 15-20 minutes, you're not able to sleep. What you can do is you can wake up, you can go to the next room, sit in a chair in a relaxed environment, and then you can go back to bed when you start feeling sleepy. So what this does is that your bed does not become a cue for things that cause alertness or distress. You should not use mobile phones or scroll mobile phones or watch TV if you're not getting sleep. Your bed should only be for sleeping. So that should be the designation for your bed. Then you can control the environmental factors, like for waking up, you can set an alarm, but try not to keep looking at the alarm. If you're not able to sleep, you do not have to look at it, remain awake and keep looking at it. So it can cause a state of arousal. Secondly, you should not use electronic devices. You should not use mobile phones or check emails or surf web on the bed, because it will not help you relax. It will keep you aroused. Thirdly, the environment that you are sleeping in. It should be dark, it should be quiet, it should be comfortable, and it should be preferably cooler. So that is the kind of environment that will promote sleep. Some person get easily distracted. They are easily arousable by noises, any kind of noises that it is happening outside. So we have white noise machines that can be used. It will help drown the background noises, and it can increase the arousal threshold. So these are some of the factors that you can use to control the environment. Then we have exercises. It's very important that you exercise regularly. Physical activity is very important for sleep. So for 3-4 days, moderate to vigorous exercise, at least 30 minutes a day, it helps in sleep. But you should not vigorously exercise just before bedtime. 2 to 3 hours before bedtime is okay, but not just before bedtime, because then you will be in an aroused state. So exercises help deepen sleep. Then what kind of things that you should eat? You should not have things that are stimulating. You should have regular meals. You should avoid heavy, spicy food for at least 2 hours before bedtime. You should, like for adults, they should avoid smoking, nicotine, alcohol. Smoking is an alerting agent, so it keeps you awake. Whereas alcohol results in fragmented sleep. So we should avoid that. We should avoid caffeinated products like for 8 hours before sleep. It includes coffee, tea, soft drink, chocolate. So we should avoid or reduce caffeine before sleeping. So these are some of the tips that will help you improve your sleep. And one more thing is that you can use dark mode. The electromagnetic radiation that comes from phone. So many phones have the dark mode setting. You can use that. It will help relax your lead to less strain in your eyes. So we can use that as well.
Right. So all
The
these
next,
exercises can help us to, all these exercises, ma'am, can help us to take, in a good state. Our eyes can be in a good state, and our health also,
yes.
if we practice all these exercises.
Anyone can practice it, not just people who have sleep disturbances. Anyone can practice it. It is a good practice that we should practice ourselves, and also tell our family members and children especially. It will help them in future if they are taught about these practices.
Ma'am, can we talk something about on computer vision syndrome? Would you like to say something on that?
Uh, it will come in the subsequent
Okay.
topic.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it when it comes,
Yeah.
if it's okay.
Yeah. It's okay. It's completely fine, ma'am.
So uh, we now we'll talk about how digital space affects the cardiovascular system. So cardiovascular system, they when we were young, we were told a lot about like how watching TV leads to negative physical effects. We were told about the terms couch potato, like it leads to obesity, it leads to increased BP. So all these effects are also now associated with digital devices. Along with TV, we also now have computers, we have phones, we have tablets, we have video games. So all these have the same physical effects that we saw with like TV. It has been now being seen with other devices. So what happens is basically the screen time leads to a sedentary lifestyle. When we say sedentary lifestyle, it means there's less physical activity. Most of the time don't move, you are on the same place. So that promotes obesity, that promotes increase in cholesterol, that leads to high blood pressure. So these are all the major risk factors that lead to decreased cardiac health. If you're obese, if you have high blood pressure, if your glucose level is high, if your cholesterol level is high, so your cardiac health is deteriorated. So there's a lot of we have seen that there's a lot of relationship between screen time and obesity. It has been seen in children who use more than 3 hours of screen time, then there's a positive correlation with obesity. Obesity is found more in those kind of children. Also, because there's decrease in outdoor activities, it has led to decreased physical inactivity. So there's also high incidence of blood pressure, even at a very young age. Now people are getting heart attacks. People are getting high blood pressure. There are a lot of cardiometabolic syndromes that are happening. Uh, One of the thing that has happened is a chronic sympathetic arousal. That is a state that I want to discuss. So what happens is in our body, whenever we perceive stress, and when I say stress, it means any kind of something that excites us. So it can be danger. It can be like if you are faced with an enemy, or if you are faced with a thief. You want to run. You get excited about it, and maybe if there is exam, you're excited because you want to study. You have not studied anything, so you're excited at that point of time. Or you're watching something, you're watching a match, or like you're chatting with your friend. It is an emotionally charged discussion. So all this state makes you charged up. You're aroused. So what happens is there's this hormone in our body which is known as cortisol, which is known as a stress hormone. So what stress hormone does is our brain perceives that we are in stress, so it releases this hormone, and this hormones led to changes in our body that help us deal with that stress. So what happens is that it increases glucose production. It releases glucose in our bloodstream, because glucose is an energy generator. So if we want to run, it will help. Like glucose helps in that. Our pupils dilated so that we can see. So all these changes cortisol brings. However, what happens is nowadays, because we are always aroused because of the increased screen time, we are always aroused. So the cortisol is increased all the time. So there is a chronic sympathetic arousal. Now, increased cortisol and decreased cortisol both are very bad. Cortisol at an optimal level is okay, but cortisol at an increased level is bad for our body. So it itself, because there's increased heart rate, there's increased BP. So, because we are aroused so much because of the screen time, it has led to like chronic sympathetic arousal, which has also negatively affected our cardiovascular health. So we have seen that in children who uses more than 3 hours of media, there's cortisol dysregulation in these patients. In addition to that, we have also seen in children and in adults who have more screen time. Insulin, there's dysregulation of insulin. So all these factors these lead to decreased cardiac health. So what can we do about this? What can we do to improve our cardiac health? So there are two main things. There should be an energy balance. The energy intake and the energy consumption should be in a balance. If the energy consumption is high, and consumption means the amount of food we take, and the energy expenditure is the physical activity we do. So if the consumption is more and the activity is less, so it will lead to weight gain. But if the consumption is low and expenditure is less, then it could lead to weight loss. So we have to focus on these two things. We have to have a healthy energy intake. That is, we have need to have healthy food choices, and then we need to have like good physical activity, so that the expenditure is more. So how can we have healthy food choices? Now we can't have a single diet for everyone. As we know, every family has their own practices related to food. No two household eat the same food. They are not prepared in the similar manner. They have different choices. So it's very important that instead of changing the diet, it is important to have healthy options. So like more consumption of fruits, vegetables, whole grain, we should buy a fewer high calorie, low nutrient food like soda, fast food, etc. So calorie dense food, we should like try to prevent those. But what is problematic is we can't do that with children. There's so much advertisement in television these days. There are advertisement for chocolates, for sodas, beverages. So we can't just limit. We can't tell the children not to eat it. We can't label the food as good food and the bad food. And it is often seen that in younger generation, if you restrict a kind of food, so it appears that they would have increased preference for those kind of foods. So it is very important that we have a discussion with the child, that we allow to have food that we deem as bad in moderate amounts. So it is always better to have good food as well as bad food in a balanced way. Also, what helps is by getting involved in the process. Like if a child is involved in planning for the food or shopping for the food or preparing for the food, no, it would help him be more mindful of it. And we have seen the children who eats in a family, they consume more fruits, they consume more vegetables as compared to children who eat alone. They eat more fast food, sodas. So that is something that the family can do. Also, they can discourage passive eating. Most of the times what we do is we are watching TV and we are generally eating. We are just munching on something, or we are scrolling, we are using games, or we are gaming, so we are just eating something. So passive eating should be discouraged. Then how can we have an active lifestyle? So physical activity is very important. And it has been seen that children who have siblings, who have playmates, or who have children living in their neighborhood and they have space, safe space to play, they are generally more healthy as compared to other children. So it's very important for parents to encourage outdoor play. If that is not possible, if there's no safe place, you don't have siblings, you live in a society where you don't have children to play with, so the family have to have a family physical activity time together. You can go for a walk together, you can play a sports together. So it's very important for child as well as adult to have a physical activity time. For children, it would be better if they have access to have a safe, accessible area to study. In addition to that, in our daily activities, we can inculcate physical activity like walking to the school or doing errands for the parents that would require you walking or cycling, so engaging in active chores that will increase the physical activity. Also, limiting the amount of time you watch on screen time. Like if you have to limit it. This is the amount of time that you would use for watching your screen, and this is the amount of time you would use for physical activity. So not more than 2 hours per day should be spent on screen. So more physical activity should be promoted. Another thing is in adolescence, mostly young children are not very much concerned about physical health. But as child grow up, when they enter the teenage area, they're very much concerned about their physical appearances. And that focus is on physical appearances rather than good health. So most of the times the teenagers, they fell into the trap of fad diets, a lot of misinformation in the internet. They do not eat healthy, they skip meals. So it's very important for a young age to have to model a healthy and a positive attitude towards food and physical activity so that they don't fall into this trap. What schools can do is, what is the kind of curriculum they have? Are there health programs that teaches or promote healthy diets, or are there school policies like how many days a week a physical education class is being taken? Are there intervals in which students are allowed to go out, have run around, move around, and what is the surrounding like? Is it a safe place? Is it a place that you can safely walk to? or are there parks nearby? So these are some of the things that school can do to promote active lifestyle. So
Right.
now we will be talking about the effect of digital space on vision. So we will be talking about computer vision syndrome, as you asked earlier. So see, our eyes, they are not designed to use computers or digital screen for a very long period of time. So our eyes, the focusing and the coordination, that is very hard for our eyes. Like, it's easier, but it strains our eyes. So individuals, they are susceptible to development of vision related problems, and it has been seen in recent studies that children who spend less time outdoors are at a greater risk of developing myopia. It is an eye condition, myopia, which is known as short sightedness. So children who rarely go outside have a high risk of developing myopia. Now, as you asked, what is computer vision syndrome? So, see, the prolonged use of handheld devices, the digital screen, has led to an increase in a syndrome which is known as computer vision syndrome or a digital eye strain, which are eye and vision problems which are related to, working related to computer use. So, using computers and other electronic devices such as laptop, tablets, smartphones, they place an extra demand on our visual system, and this leads to eye and vision problems. So it can lead to dry eyes, you can have headache, you can have blurry vision, you can have eye discomfort, and these symptoms are mostly temporary. They don't last for a very long time, and but the longer you spend in front of a screen, the longer it takes for these symptoms to go out. And people greatest risk are those people who spend 2 or more hours continuously at computer or any kind of electronic devices. So this is what computer vision syndrome is. It is being seen increasingly these days. uh, so, in addition to the amount of time you spent on the screen, other things that can lead to eye issues are the poor lighting that you are in, the glares from the screen. If you have already have an uncorrected vision problem, or thus the posture that you are in, the poor sitting, that also leads to these problems. So, what we need to understand is reading in a book and reading in a digital space are two different things, because in computer screens, sometimes the words are not clearly defined. They are too small, too large, or the contrast is not well, there's glare. So, screen viewing is very difficult. It leads to strain at our eyes. So, what are the ways you can decrease this? You can provide rest to your eyes. So the first thing that you can do is, to rest your eyes, is to take eye breaks. So there's a rule called 20-20-20 rule. So what it says is that for every 20 minutes, you have to take a break. You have to look uh, at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. You have to focus on something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So this is a 20-20 rules. In addition to that, it is also recommended that for every 2 hours, you have to take a break for 15 minutes from electronic devices. So these are the few recommendations for eye breaks. Other thing you can do is blink. Uh, it has been seen that people who use screens, who view computers or any handheld devices, they tend to blink less. So blinking is a natural way to prevent dryness and irritation. So it helps in lubricating your eye. So it's very important to blink. Then what you can do is you have to have a comfortable viewing distance. Your computer screen should be at least an arm's length away from you. The computer screen and yourself, there should be a distance of an arm's length. That is around 20-inch distance there should be. And while you are using a mobile, it should be around 30-inch distance should be there. Also, it's advisable that if you're viewing something on the mobile phone, you should zoom the small prints rather than bring it get close to your eyes and viewing it, because then it puts a strain on your eyes. Then how do you position yourself? So while you are sitting in front of a computer screen, your back should be supported, your feet should be on the floor, and the top of your screen, it should not be higher than your eye level. the screen should be angled in such a way that your eye level is at around 15 to 20-degree angle of your computer screen. So that is how your general position should be. Next, you can use artificial tears. It is very popular in people who have lenses. So what you can do is you can use a lubricating agent that you can ask that will help you moisten your eyes and prevent dryness. Then there are certain special computer lenses that are now in the market, and they're not like you're reading regular prescription glasses. They are multifocal lenses with anti-glare coating that can also help reduce the stress to the eyes. Then the lighting that you are in, the lighting should be similar. The amount of brightness in the screen should not be brighter or dimmer. And the glare, you should beat the glare. You should reduce the glare by adjusting your devices. The decrease amount of light that is reflected. So you have to decrease the glare. Then it's also very important that you get annual eyes checkups because it helps in identifying these signs and symptoms and visual problem earlier than the earlier it is detected, it is likely to be treated more earlier. So it's recommended that to get an annual eyes checkup done every year. Next, we'll be talking about how digital space affects our musculoskeletal system. So, as stated earlier, because people are sitting more, they are not moving more. They have to sit in front of a screen. So it has led to vast impact on the joints and the bones. So it is argued that the screen usage it affects the posture, it causes strain, it causes pain sensation, and it has been seen that in children who use a screen more, their mineral density is very lower to children who use less screen time. In addition to that, there are a lot of musculoskeletal disorders related to computer because you have to use your fingers repetitively, forcefully. This awkward posture, this prolonged hours of computer use, and your arms and hands are in non-neutral position. So it has led to like backache, your this pain in the neck. So because of downward gaze, there's pain in the neck. So these are the kind of problems that are being faced in the musculoskeletal system due to computer use. There's also very poorly designed ergonomics for this, for computers, and which is another important contributing factor in causing not only musculoskeletal problem, but it can lead to more distress in the future. So what can we, so another type of force that is contact stress. So like because we're sitting in a single position, like if we're working for 2 hours straight, we're not taking a break. So it leads to pressure of our part of body against some, for example, we are resting our wrist against a sharp edge. So there's pressure. So this leads to contact stress. It can lead to strain, it can lead to pain. Now, it has been seen that like the amount of musculoskeletal problem has increased over 25% in the last decade. And around 22% of people are complaining of a thing called cumulative trauma disorders and repetitive strain disorders. So the major contributing factors for these are the duration of computer use and the amount of work which has led to this stress. And one of the earliest signs of this is the muscular tension that we feel. So if you are feeling this tension, that means that you are having some issues. Uh, Also, because we are sitting in an improper posture for a very long duration of time, that has led to injuries to the back. Our back is unable to support us. And we are sitting in a chair that is not ergonomically designed well. So it has led to low back pain. We are unable to, our posterior lumbar structures and our interdiscal load that is harmed due to prolonged sitting. So, what can we do to prevent this? So, it's important to take breaks. It's important that we stand, we stretch, and walk at least a minute or two every half an hour. We have to take break. we have to alternate between sitting and standing as much as possible. We should not sit or stand for a long period of time without interruption. So that is something that we can do. Then we can have a proper posture. We can have an at ease posture. So it has been shown in the diagram, like what should be the posture of a person. As you can see in the diagram, uh, the feet should be resting comfortably on the floor, and the knees should be lower than the hips with a 4 inch gap between the back of the knee and the front edge of the chair. And we should not cross our legs, knees, or ankles. We should, relax our shoulder. Our shoulder should not be hunched. Our elbows should be at our sides. We should sit straight. We should not slump. And we should look forward to the monitor screen. And the screen should be at the level of our eye, or it should be uh, either at a 18 to 20-degree angle on the lower side. So that is how our monitor should be there. Then our keyboard, it should be at least 4 to 6 inches away from the edge, so that we have a space to rest our wrist, so that our wrists are not, are hanging or are in an awkward position. Many times we have to copy things, like we have taking a document, we have to convert it digitally. So it's important that you have a document stand, so that you don't bend your neck and have to see there and then type. So a document stand may help. Also, the kind of workstation that you live in, the height of the keyboard, the location of the devices, they should be all in the line. And the things that you use most frequently should be in accessible area, so you don't have to stretch more, you don't have to move more. So all these things, they help in having a proper posture, comfortable posture. You should have use a backrest, so it can help prevent lower back pain. uh, you should sit up. You should not slouch. Slouching itself can lead to pain, back pain. Then the kind of setting that you are in, it should be in an appropriate place in the way that has been described before. And also, after every 2 hours, you can stretch. You can do exercises that will help you prevent these. Stretch your muscles. The stress, the strain that your muscles are in, that can be decreased with the help of these exercises and stretches.
Right, and
Uh,
yeah. And moving on next, what we have, ma'am.
then we have, like, what are the effects on hearing? So see, we hear a lot of voices. Every voices does not cause a hearing loss. So there's a thing called noise-induced hearing loss, that which can be caused either by a single loud noise, like either we hear a firecracker, or it can be due to repetitive exposure to loud noises. So what happens is, nowadays we use MP3 players, we use earphones that we put on our ears. So there is loud voice for a long period of time. So it affects the hair cells. Hair cells are receptor devices that are in our ear. So that cause damage, get damaged. So this has led to a hearing loss, and it is something that is not perceived very easily because it is painless. It does not cause any kind of pain. It is gradual in nature. You can't perceive that hearing loss. So most of the time, what children would complain is they would have trouble hearing soft voices, or they are having a ringing or buzzing sensation in their ears, or they are not able to have conversations that are like in whispers, because they are not able to hear it. They are unclear to it. So uh, noise-induced hearing loss is something that we are seeing increasingly in the clinical practices. So what we can do is take regular breaks. There's a rule called 60-60 rule, which states that the amount that you should not listen to music at a volume more than 60% of the maximum volume, and not more than 60 minutes per day. For 60 minutes, you have to listen. You can do it for 60% of the recommended of the maximum volume. Then using headphones. We have headphones and we have earphones. So headphones are less riskier than earbuds. So we can use that. And the best thing is the noise cancellation headphone that helps in blocking out other kind of noises. So you don't have to turn up the music. You don't have to increase the volume of your device. So noise cancellation headphones can be taken. You have to limit the listening time. Many mobile phones and digital devices these times have their own control limits. So you can increase, you can turn on that function, the volume control limits, and also to get regular health hearing test. That is something that can be done. Now, there are also effects known as neurophysiological effects. So we have seen that there have been numerous investigation in this, and it has been seen that addiction to internet, it can cause structural changes in the brain. That there are actual changes in the brain that specifically in the frontal lobe, in which the ability to filter out irrelevant information, there's reduced capacity of coping with demanding and complex tasks. These are all the structural changes that has happened in our brain due to internet addiction. Also, there has been studies on TV exposure among preschoolers, which has found that decision-making process and their white matter changes. So there are actually changes that are taking place in our brain due to this. So what can we do about it? So there's a thing called digital diet, in which what it is that we spend some time away from digital devices. It does not mean that we avoid them, but it is just like that we reduce the number of apps to only essential ones. We turn off the notification. We recognizes the triggers like notification. We can turn that off. We can have like phone zones, no phone zones in your home. Like when you enter your home, there should be a rule, 15-minute rule, that you won't access your phone for 15 minutes after you enter your room. You can turn off your notification or turn off your phone at certain times of day to digitally detoxify yourself. So this is something that can be done. And one of the most important thing is to be mindful. So what happens is when we use our mobile phones, we are not very sure, like we're just using it passively. We don't give a lot of thought about it. We keep checking our mobile phones. So we should be mindful about it, whether it like to check time, to answer email. So we should be conscious, like how many times are we using our mobile. So that can help us to know like how. So digital diet can be a part of that, and limiting the screen time. In addition to that, there are also other possible side effects that are not like studied well, but these are also the side effects, possible side effects of digital devices. One is the effect on fertility. There has been studies that show that electromagnetic radiation from mobile phones, they affect the sperm count and the male fertility. So in two ways, like thermal ways and non-thermal effects. Thermally, what it does is it increases the temperature of testis. A testis is an organ which has a lower body temperature as compared to a core body temperature. So it needs a cooler temperature for sperm production. So, the electromagnetic radiation from mobile phones, from any digital device, it increases the temperature. So it interferes with that process, the process of generating sperms. In addition to that, there are other non-thermal ways. There is production of reactive oxygen species that interact with the DNA, and it again decreases the sperm count in males. So that is something that has been seen. In addition to that, the electromagnetic waves in the mobile phones, they have been grouped under group 2B, which is possibly carcinogenic, that it can cause cancer. But this is something that has not been studied upon. The studies are still going on, but this is something that is being studied upon. Then it has also been seen that people who spend more than 50 minutes a day using cell phone, they are showing signs of early dementia or other thermal damages. So this is also something that is being studied upon. So finally, lastly, I would like to talk about the good digital practices that we should be following. So these are general practices that would be discussed even in the subsequent sessions also. So the first thing is to keep your digital devices in the common area and out of the bed. Your bedroom should be for sleeping. It should not be a place where you eat, where you scroll mobile, or where you watch TV. And you need to have digital rules in consultation uh, with children, and you should have specific rule for children, and you have to follow it. Then you have to disconnect regularly for healthy period of time. You should have a balanced online and offline activities. You should sleep without your phone. You should have regular physical activities during break. You should have regular interaction with parents and
Right,
children.
ma'am. And
Parents and
ma'am,
children.
can we conclude it a bit fast because it's time to wrap up the session?
Okay.
Yeah, please.
It is the last slide. We should focus on safety. We should tell the children about do's and don'ts of cybersecurity. We should understand the privacy and risk of internet. We should limit the apps and notification. We should not disseminate unverified information, awareness about cyberbullying, and etc. So these are some of the good digital practices that we should follow. And lastly, I would just say that the digital media has it has become a part of our existence now. We can't stop it.
Right.
So as we navigate this digital realm, let's be mindful. We should balance the benefits with the need with, as I said in earlier, we should embrace digitalization by safeguarding our physical health, emotional, mental.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today, and thank you so much for engaging us in this insightful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, to maintain good physical health in online environments, it is important to keep all these points in your mind, which we discussed today in our program. And now it's time for me to tell you about the registration process and how you can attempt the quiz. Well, what you need to do is you can go to the website. You can see on the screen here. Here you can see the web page, and what you need to do is you need to go to the website of CIT, which is citncert.gov.in, and click on the headings, and here you can see the heading activities, and here you can basically what you need to do, you need to go to under this option workshop and training, and when you click there you will find the current activity, and that is online training on digital wellness, and click on it. You can see all the details regarding these sessions, and here on this page you will get all the details regarding this online training that we are conducting along with the day wise schedule. We have also the objective of this training here. So what is the objective of this training program and who can participate? Student, teachers, teacher educators, parents, administrators, all those who are interested can participate in this. And the day one we talked about digital wellness and overview, and day 2 we talked about factors that impact digital wellness. Today we discussed ensuring physical well-being in digital spaces, and tomorrow we will discuss about mental health concerns in digital spaces, and on the last day of this training program we will discuss the topic ensuring mental well-being in digital spaces. So here you can see all these objectives and program schedule, and here you can see the day-wise schedule and also the program schedule along with the name of the resource person here, right? And after that the themes we are covering and everything you will see there. And viewers, if the themes we are covering, and here comes a very important section that how you can participate and register yourself. So viewers, let me tell you that Diksha course will be launched on the last day of this training program, and for assessment you need to enroll yourself in this course, and here you can watch all the videos, 5 hours videos, 5-day online training program, and participate in the assessment. So if you want to register yourself for that, click on this link, or you can also scan this QR code. Well, on the last day of this training session, you will get the post session quiz, and this link will be highlighted, and you can click on it and you can attempt the quiz. And what you can do is you can, if you score more than 70%, you will be given a certificate of participation, and it will be sent to you to your registered email ID. And also if you want to submit your feedback, you can also submit your feedback. You can just click on this link and scan this QR code again, and if you have any query and if you want to say something related to this program, you can always send your feedback, and for that you can email us to training.helpdesk@cit.nic.in. So this is all about the today's session, and before I leave, I would like to make an important announcement, and that that is tomorrow from 3:30 to 5 p.m. You will watch an exciting program on digital creativity, AI skills, and the Gen AI assistant presented by NCERT and Adobe India. I'm Nupurkul Shresht signing off. You take care. Namaskar.